Hey folks, I'm Glenn.
I'm Maureen.
Welcome to another Cabin Life. Today we're talking about mistakes to avoid when buying land right here on Cabin Life.
Today we're heading down to the beaver dam because I had moved the trappers' beaver poles. I didn't tell Glenn, so we have to get down there and put them back for him.
And we're going to talk about mistakes to avoid while buying land and finding your dream property.
Although we're not experts in real estate, we recommend that if you're new to buying land, that you hire a knowledgeable realtor who's familiar with the areas that are looking for property to help you buy the perfect piece of land.
Or consult with a lawyer as well for all those legal services along the way.
These points are in no particular order, and here is number one. Make certain that the title of the property you're looking at is free from any liens, mortgages, or loans. Many people make the mistake of not confirming that the title is free from liens when they're using vendor financing.
So you could do a quick title search, or you could hire the services of a title searcher as well. Don't forget, you can also consult the services of a lawyer for that purpose too. And our second point of mistakes to avoid when buying land.
Make certain there are no restrictions on the property that you're looking at. Many people make the assumption that they can just get zoning or the restrictions changed, and that can lead to a lot of expense and possibly a lot of disappointment too. Once you know the areas that you want to buy property in, make a visit to the municipal office and speak to them about the zoning and what you can do and can't do with the properties, or what areas are zoned to meet the needs of what you want to do with that property.
Each property can be different, so you want to do your homework on that.
Each municipality has its own sets of regulations and zoning, so don't assume that one municipality will have similar rules as the other one. Sit down, have a conversation, and talk with them about what your plans are, what you're looking to do, and where the best place is to buy a piece of property.
It's a good thing to have a list all prepared. That way you can fire down through the list of questions and concerns and whatnot and get as much information from that visit as possible. You know, some areas like we reside here in Ontario are known as unorganized townships, and we are not subject to a lot of those same restrictions, zoning bylaws and whatnot that some are in the organized localities. And if you haven't seen the video on buying land in unorganized areas and you're interested in that, check it out right here.
And in some areas in Ontario, Canada, there are restrictions known as minister zoning orders, which protect areas of significance like environmentally protected lands and historical significant sites. So check out those to make certain that the land that you're looking at isn't restricted by a minister's zoning order.
And the next point, I think it's number 3, don't build too close to property lines.
Yeah, make certain you know what the setbacks are and leave a little bit extra room from the property lines just for future needs or whatever. A lot of people make the mistakes of not knowing where their setbacks are, and that could cause a lot of problems when you're trying to get financing in the future or looking to get building approvals for additions or going to sell the property.
And for those who aren't aware, setbacks are basically predetermined distances which you must follow in order to have the layout of your property set according to the standards and restrictions and within those zoning bylaws and whatnot. For instance, how far away is your well where you're getting drinking water from? How far away is that going to be from your septic system? That kind of a thing. How far away are your outbuildings from property lines and all that type of stuff. So it's always good to have a buffer. When buying land, especially new raw land that hasn't been previously developed in any way. It's easy to assume that you can just pop a driveway in wherever you want and clear some trees and, you know, level the land, put your buildings on it, and away you go. But that's not necessarily the case.
No, it's always best to have a contractor or a few contractors come by the property with you, take a look, discuss your plans with them, get their recommendations, and get a quote as to how much it's going to cost and what all is involved in getting your driveway in and getting your building site set up and ready to go.
I've been surprised in the past when we've had quotes on various projects that we want to undertake and had 2 or even 3 contractors come in to provide us with a quote on the work. And depending on how each contractor approaches the job and what they feel needs to be done and how they do what they do, it's amazing the range that you know, the prices can swing. So yeah, it's and one may be better than the other. Don't necessarily always take the lowest quote, because that might not be the best way to go.
That is so true.
And point number 5, I think, don't make assumptions.
Yeah, don't assume that what you think is correct. Like if you see something that's was done down the road and you think, yeah, I want to do that on my property, make sure that you can do it, because through time zoning and regulations have changed. So make certain that what someone else did, that you can still do today if that's what you want to do, because quite possible you can't because the zoning has changed.
You know what happens when we assume. And another mistake to avoid when buying land, finding your dream property, is make sure that you can hook up to the services that you want, whether you're on grid or off grid. There was one family that we knew that moved into their new property, and hydro power, electric power was down at the road. There was a pole there, and they had assumed that it was just going to be a matter of putting a pole up by their house and you know, a straight line to their layout, and that would have been that. But unfortunately, that turned out not to be the case. They were surprised when they found out they had to put 3 additional poles in, and
That could be quite costly. Now again, there is assumption, assuming that you can just run the line up, right?
Right.
Got to do your homework.
And the alternative power is another thing that, you know, there are data tables that you can check out for instance, solar. How many sun days are there and how many sun hours are there in your area? And also the wind. So you want to find out if there's enough wind days that are going to supply you with enough wind power alternative and whatnot. So.
And of course, there's other services as well, like your septic and your well. Make certain that there's places where you can put those close in relation to where you want to put your home.
Do your research, do your homework. You know, we've got a lot more points that we have to make, but right now we're kind of running out of time, losing our light. We're going to continue on in part 2, buying land, finding your dream property, mistakes to avoid. That's all for now. I'm Glenn.
I'm Maureen.
We'll see you next time. Over and out.
Take care.